Hello, everyone. I want to thank you for tuning in today. It's been a number of years since I produced, that's kind of funny. I don't have a lot of technical skills, but it's been a couple of years since I put together a YouTube video. And I feel like this is a great time to pick it back up for some other reasons. One of the things that has happened is I've learned that in remote Alaskan communities, there's only a snowmobile or a plane that will get to them. Many remote communities live actually below the poverty line, and finding either a plethora of goods with a great variety or having the funding to purchase those, you can't buy what's not available, and you can't pick up new things when you don't have the funds to do it. I have a huge stash, a lot of wonderful natural fibers, and I can use it up and make quality goods with my natural fibers and send to these communities where they can really be used. I used to work with someone who actually is a bush pilot or knows a bush pilot, I forget which. Anyway, they have a ministry that will help get my hats to the right people that really could use them. So I'm thrilled to be motivated to continue some more videos. I've heard your feedback about using a lighter color yarn for my videos, slowing down and showing myself knitting, and I will do so. Not for this particular video, but for the ones that are to come when I do more tips. So what I wanted to share today is just a very simple way to use natural fiber yarn that you might have gotten feedback that it's felted and shrunk, or it is scratchy and you still want to use it. You were at a yarn show or in a store and got this yarn, maybe you inherited even, and you want to use it, and a great way to use it is in super warm hats. Now, wool is a terrific insulating fiber. Natural wool will hold up to 30% of its weight in water and still feel dry. Before they had modern firefighter equipment, they would use wool outfits because it's naturally fire resistant. So there's wonderful things about wool. You've probably heard of Aran knitting and fisherman sweaters. They have the natural lanolin, that's a sheep oil, still within the fiber. It hasn't been scrubbed clean, if you will, and they knit so that they can go out and fish and still stay warm and somewhat dry. So many good things to learn about wool, more to come on that front. What this video is for is to show you how you can use some of that reputedly scratchy yarn, like this gorgeous yarn I have. It's a hand dyed, kettle dyed wool from Romney Ridge Farms. It's no longer available, but Kelly, the proprietor, made some fantastic yarn. It's a nice Aran or heavy worsted weight, and I'm using it to make hats that are great insulators for sending to this remote community through my friend. Anyway, what you do is you cast on your stitches in your supposedly scratchy yarn. You do a standard knit 2, purl 2 rib. When you come to the center stitches of, it's about 3 inches, I cast on 64. You might choose, this is to be more of a kid's hat. You might choose 68 stitches or 72 stitches. 72 is sort of a magical number because you can either reduce 6 times or 12 times, and pretty much any yarn you use when you cast on 72, it works out and makes a hat that can be worn by most people. At any rate, back to the ribbing here. So you cast on, in this case, it was 64 stitches, and I used my regular tension here. I was on the train and couldn't go down a needle size. That will help keep your ribbing nice and tight over time. When you wash or this is worn, it helps prevent it from stretching out. So what I did was I slowed down and I focused on trying to knit really tightly. And you could see, especially in this row here of knitting, how after I finished the purl stitch, right here it's a bit tighter. And when I started and ended those rounds, they're looser. So that helps you with longevity and stretchiness for your ribbing. Then what you do is you knit a plain stitch in the same yarn. That's what this one is here. You can see there's purl stitches, but I've knit that next row. So I've got one row of just plain knitting. Then you switch to a softer yarn. And I believe this one is from Golden State Farm here in New Jersey. I probably picked it up either at the Rhinebeck Wool Festival or maybe when I went to Misty Meadows Sheep Dairy down in South Jersey. I don't quite remember, but it's fantastic yarn. And like I said, I'm using up my stash. It's nice and soft. Alpaca is another natural fiber that's somewhat hollow on the inside. It creates a natural insulation in the actual hairs themselves that they use to wind up into this yarn. So it's great for these colder climates. You could also use 2 strands of stock yarn held together. Just you're getting the same or very similar gauge to continue the same length as your ribbing. It's about 3 inches. And then about 3 inches in the softer yarn. You could even use an acrylic yarn. I've done that on a few hats, no problem. And then you switch back to the yarn you started out with, the one that people tell you, oh, it's too scratchy to use, but you know it's a great insulator and you want to use it. So this trick of adding that soft yarn isn't going to show once you put the hat on and you fold up the brim. It's going to cover up your softer yarn that you have behind, and that's what's going to be next to the ears, on the forehead, etc. And it shouldn't be scratchy, and you could use these heavyweight, beautiful yarns that you have to make hats. So I hope this tip is helpful. I encourage you to give back. Find a remote community in Alaska or Saskatchewan in the northern hemisphere. I don't know what they would be in the southern hemisphere, but there are people who need your help and your skills and can appreciate a lot what you do for them, and I encourage you to do that. If you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. There's some more videos to come. This has really motivated me to get back into knitting, and things have changed where I'm not so crazy busy anymore. So I'll be able to put forth some videos. So I'd love your feedback and suggestions. And I do thank you for watching. Knit happy, pay it forward. God bless you, and have a lovely rest of your day.